to know when you're filming.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, we're good? So, hi, Josh here with the Code to Filter Workshop, and this is my ballista. Literally built in my garage with my own two hands. I did all the engineering and design work myself. This is based upon Vitruvius's design. It is mostly period correct. And by that I mean I had to make a bunch of changes for this so we could use it in SCA combat, where we are shooting either those simulated cannonballs or those simulated bolts, well they're actually bolts, at people in armor. So safety is a big concern. I'm not going to go over every little detail of this right now, because that in itself is another video, and I will be doing a complete engineering history and design of how I got from a clean sheet of paper to every little nut and bolt and dimension on this thing. Now this works. We used it in live combat at Pennsic 51 this past summer, and one of the things that we learned about it is it really likes shooting those cannonballs. So I have a small crew here, people. We're going to be going over some training on how to use this, some of the commands that we do, and we're going to essentially warm this up. I do have a wrench with me if we need to tighten any of these rope skeins, if we find that the power isn't there or something has just gone out. That sounds weird. Anyway, if it's kind of funky, we can certainly adjust it, right? And there's two ways of adjusting power on these things. The first is that you tighten these rope skeins, right? This rope here is the energy of the thing. The thing, is that a technical word? The thing, Stephen King? Anyway, but beyond that, this works just like a traditional crossbow, right? Except instead of the energy being held in a metal spring like those, it's held in these rope skeins, right? So the tighter these are, the more power you have. The second way that you get power is through the slider. Right? The slider hooks up and connects to the ring. And then you pull this back via the windlass. Of course, you have this down as a safety mechanism. You can then launch this at any point, right? Compared to the Docmos over there, that's got a one position firing. So the only way that you can affect range is by, up and down, but it's the same power. So if you're trying to lob something, it's very difficult. Versus with these engines, if I want to lob something, right, meaning I've got my troops here and the enemy line is over here, I don't want to have a straight line because I'm going to hit my own guys. I want to lob it up and then hit them. I can just set this at a high angle and then come in at whatever power will get me there, right? I could launch it here, or I could launch it all the way back here. And the further back you pull it, obviously the more power you have. So, the commands that we sort of figured out at Pennsic live in battle, right, are right after you would fire it, then you would release the catch, slide this up, latch the ring into the trigger. Then you would have one person on each side. And so if I could have one person on each side. So these are how we crank the windlass. These are ratchets. Now one thing we'll have to make sure is that these are set right. So you just literally stick them in here, right? And as I push it back, right? But then I should be able to ratchet, right? So you want to, and because this is the first firing in a while, and the first firing since I made some tweaks to the string, let's just go back to about here, or maybe about here. And you also notice this is a little slow, brand new crew, first time doing it. In combat, we got into a rhythm. Okay, let's stop here. So pull your cranks out. If you could hand me one of the cannonballs. So this then sits in the pouch, right? The pouch then will release and push this forward. One thing I'm noticing, this looks a little low, but so the ordnance is now loaded. You are loaded and ready to go. So by design now, this trigger here, if you want to come up, camera person, this is actually a period correct Roman trigger, which I'll go over the operation after I fire, because the longer I keep this, the more energy will dissipate. So camera person, can you back up? But one thing that I found is that this arm is not long enough for the amount of force in here. So we have this extension. I will be completely redoing this trigger out of stainless. This is currently aluminum. A lot of problems with it, but it got me through Pennsic. Anyway, fire in the hole. You ready? And that is a simulated cannonball.